Hello, aligned minds, and welcome back to The Voice Within. I'm back, and finally I'm sitting with my microphone in the real time. Everything you heard these past weeks was pre-recorded. We just came back from Bosnia. Trip was lovely. We stayed for the 3 weeks. I enjoyed so much spending the time with my family. We traveled all around Bosnia. I got the chance to experience some parts of my country that I didn't been before, and as well to show those parts of my country to my husband, to my son. So it was lovely vacation. We came back like maybe a week back, and all of the past week I was getting back into the routine, slowly adjusting to the new rhythm. Especially was challenging around sleeping, as in Bosnia the sunset is way later than in Middle East, in Bahrain. So all of us, we were a little bit upside down with the sleeping, but we are stabilizing slowly. We are getting back into our routine. During our vacation in Bosnia, as the sunset is later, like I said, my son was going to bed way later than usually he goes in Bahrain, and it was a little bit exhausting to stay with him later in the night. I felt like my alone time, my quiet time at night has been stolen, and as well he was having way harder time to fall asleep. So I would stay with him, lay down until he fall asleep, and this is something we are doing from the time he is born. On the beginning it was breastfeeding. When the breastfeeding stopped, it was holding and hugging, sometimes rocking, and then kind of later on just went into us lay down with him until he falls asleep. During vacation in Bosnia, I noticed that it's giving me some level of tension, that constant lay down next to him until he falls asleep. I kind of didn't notice it before until that trip in Bosnia, when I actually saw how much of my time was stolen because his bedtime was later, and then he had harder time to fall asleep. Then I had to lay down with him longer when I was actually extremely tired. I wanted to take shower, I wanted to get ready for the bed, and then night after night I would be going later to bed because I've been waiting for him to finally fall asleep so I can take care for myself. And while all of this was happening, in those nights when I would be laid down next to him, waiting for him to fall asleep, I was contemplating and thinking, and I realized actually how for some time already I feel that it's time for that routine to stop. It's time for some new approach in bedtime routine, new way of connection, bedtime story, hugging, kissing, what we always do, but then I put the light off and I leave the room. I started realizing that he is big enough and it's time for us to transition in something new. But that transition will not happen if I don't initiate it. And then as I was thinking about how will I do it, definitely I cannot do it during our travel, during our trip. I have to have talk with him. I don't know, will he resist? I was contemplating, does it making any harm to him if I do it? Is he developmentally ready to do it? And all the boxes are ticking, like he can fall asleep by himself. It's just kind of habit that we are there with him, and sometimes it can take longer time for him to fall asleep now when he's bigger. And every time I thought about changing it, about changing our bedtime routine, my heart would like twist a little bit. And I was asking myself, I was thinking and lay down on that bed waiting for him to fall asleep, asking myself, will it hurt him? What if he thinks that I love him less? And you most probably felt this as well. That feeling of, what if I change something and that change hurts the people I love? And this is the moments where we freeze, where we just decide that the responsibility for the change is on somebody else, and we're not going to do nothing because we are terrified that if we make some moves, if we make some changes, we will hurt the people we love. Deep inside, I felt that it's time to shift the bedtime routine. Deep inside, I felt that this is the right thing to do, that it's not anymore even about connection if it doesn't feel mutual from both of the sides, from him and from me. And when he was smaller, it felt that way. But now it started kind of draining me a little bit. And what often would happen is, while waiting for him to fall asleep, I would fall asleep. And then I wake up in the middle of the night, going to take shower, brushing my teeth, then my sleep is fragmented, and then next day I'm very tired. I was just keep thinking, why am I doing this? What is underneath? What am I trying to avoid? trying to make some kind of strategy how to do it in the loving way, how to do it in a way that he doesn't feel like I'm abandoning him, that he understands in his little brain that mama is still there for whatever he needs, but it's time to change some things which benefit all of us. And the more I was thinking about it, the deeper I was going about reasons why it's so hard to change it. While I was thinking, how will I shape my words for him? I started understanding that this is not just about bedtime. This is about me. And actually, when you think about it, nobody ever tells us when is the time to grow up. Nobody tells us when is the moment we need to stop measuring our decision against other people's feelings. And what I mean by this, I've seen this with my relationship with my parents. I've seen how adults around me still living it as if they are kids. I see when the people are afraid to make moves, it's like they are waiting for some kind of permission from somebody to do it. It's like we are all just waiting for someone to tell us, now you are allowed to lead in your life. Now you are allowed to change something. Now you are mature and grown up and you don't need to report yourself to nobody. You can do with your life whatever you want. And most of the people, they think they are actually doing this in their life. But if you pay attention on your life, you will see that the places where you are making those kind of decisions, mature, grown-up decisions, are decisions which everybody is doing, are decisions which are not putting you apart from anybody. You're blending with everybody, and in this way it feels safe to do it. And those decisions are not actually triggering the people around you. They are not making harm to their feelings in any way. But as soon as we think about changing something deeper which could possibly affect other people, especially those we love, we freeze. And while we wait for that permission that never arrives to change something in our life, we give. And we give more, and we overfunction. And it's feeling that everybody's comfort is more important than ours, that everyone else's comfort is higher than our needs. We feel like we are adults, but inside we are still little girls in grown-ups' bodies. We are hoping deep inside that somebody one day will come and say, it's safe for you to live the way you want. You have now permission to do whatever you want. You can change your life. You can flip your cabinet. You can dress differently. You can talk differently. You can walk differently. You can make complete cleanup of your life. This is what we are waiting for somebody to do, because deep inside we know that this kind of changes will bring discomfort in other people, will create some friction in our relationships. And we are terrified that if we do this, we will be rejected. So to preserve not to feel rejected, we stay small, we stay the way we are, we overfunction and give, because deep inside somewhere we'll feel this is what brings us love, this is what gives us love. But there is a moment in our life where we start feeling that that kind of giving is costing us. And if we are honest, that kind of giving is not really authentic. If I am giving to you just to get something in return, is that love to begin with? The love should be given from overflow, that we fill up ourselves and respected ourselves so deeply and so much that we have so much of it to give to other people. And while I was laid down next to my son, thinking about how we will bring new bedtime routine, thinking about all of that understanding that is much more than it looks on the surface, I saw that the line between development ages is everywhere clear except in womanhood. When we are babies to child, it's measurable by age, by development milestones, what we can do, what we can accomplish when we are babies, when we are children. It's measurable month to month, year to year. And there is that fine line where we can see it, okay, the baby is not baby anymore, the baby is toddler. The toddler is a big boy or big girl. Now they are becoming teens and so on. But the line between, let's say, adulthood and womanhood is blurry. There is no milestone. There is no age. It's not measurable. And society is trying to measure it. Society is trying to tell us, once you accomplish this, once you tick all of these boxes, then you are adult. Then you are, how they say it, mature. You bought the car, you got married, you have kids, you finished school, now you are adult. But we have witnessed so many times in our life people around us who are adults, well accomplished but completely immature inside. The womanhood brings that level of maturity that it's not measurable in those materialistic things or accomplishments. It is what lives inside of her. And that womanhood begins the moment you decide. No one else gets to decide for me anymore. It's the moment where you stop asking, will others be okay if I choose this? And instead of that, you start asking, am I okay living like this? Am I fine living like this? Is my intention clean? I'm not harming anybody, but at the same time, I'm not gonna comfort others at the cost of myself. Am I okay in my life with everything I'm doing? And then the more I was thinking about it, why that line is so blurry between adulthood and womanhood. Because nobody ever tells us, you are grown up now. You need to be mature. You need to make your own decisions. You need to step up for yourself in your life. We kind of learn it, or sometimes don't learn it at all, on the road, in life. When life hits us so much that we mature. When so many things happen to us that we finally start realizing that prioritizing others over ourselves is costing us too much. It's like kind of something which gets born inside of us accidentally, shaped by life. But the more I was thinking, the more I started understanding that we can make that decision to mature. We can make that decision to step into womanhood, regardless of our age. Nobody ever comes to us to tell us, our parents, to model it to us. It's time for you to step up. It's time for you to change something. You cannot rely anymore heavily on my inputs. But these things, they rarely happen in the woman life, that somebody comes to tell her, you are a grown woman now. You need to step into womanhood. You need to start making your own decisions. You cannot silence yourself for what is costing you. You have to put yourself on the first place and give to others from overflow. Nobody tells us that we can love our parents, that we can love our children, that we can love our husbands deeply and still love ourselves and choose ourselves. There is no whatsoever harm in choosing yourself, in self-prioritizing. The real harm would be living small, carrying that silent resentment, waiting for others to give us permission to live our life. Prioritizing yourself doesn't mean I am selfish, I choose myself, I choose only things that are important to me, and I don't care about others. Prioritizing yourself, especially like a woman, like a mother, means I will take care for myself first so I can give best of me to you, because I love you so deeply and so much that I believe that you don't deserve fragments of me. I will fill up my cup. I will take care for myself, for my body, for my health, for my mental being, for every part of me, of my soul, to give you best of me because you deserve that, because I love you so much and I love you deeply. There is no selfishness in this. But when we do prioritize ourselves, people will get uncomfortable, especially if we didn't do it before. And this discomfort doesn't mean we are doing something wrong. It just means they are getting used to it on new reality in life. And we will not be able to prioritize ourselves if we don't make decision to step into womanhood. Everything is very, very connected, because womanhood means I am my own woman. I make decisions for myself. I stand in what is true for me. I'm filling my cup by myself. I'm not waiting for permission from anybody to do it. I'm making my own decisions. I'm making the moves in my life which bring so much joy and magic and flow and energy. And I'm doing it because I love myself so deeply and I love people in my life so deeply. So in order for us to prioritize, we first have to make decision to step into womanhood. And usually we don't make this decision because we are waiting for somebody's permission to tell us, now you are allowed to step into womanhood. Now you can be your own woman. And that decision, that permission never arrives because it was never anybody's to give us that permission. There is a huge difference between waiting for acknowledgement from our parents, even we are two adults in the room, and treating our parents like we are two adults in the room. What does this mean? I am your child forever, but I am not child anymore. I am your child forever and I love you deeply and I respect you deeply, but I am not child anymore. I don't need to overfunction for you. I don't need to show you my success so you finally acknowledge that I am worth of praise and admiration. When we realize this, that we are adults, that we can make our own decisions, that we are women, that we are mature, and this is decision, this is the point in which we see ourselves in a mirror and say, wait a minute, I am adult woman, I am mature woman, I stepped into womanhood. I'm stepping into womanhood the moment I declare this to myself out loud. I don't need to perform for my parents, overfunction. I don't need to be terrified. Will I hurt them if I choose myself? I don't need to be terrified. Will I hurt my children, my husband, if I choose myself? I'm choosing myself because I'm stepping into womanhood. I'm going into greatness of myself, giving myself what my soul is desiring, and from that overflow, giving to people around me because I love them so deeply and so much that I want to give to them the best version of me. And this is what landed in me. This is the truth which came to my soul while I was laid down in the bed waiting for my son to fall asleep. Understanding that, yes, through our life, our parents were giving us permission for the things. Yes, they were guiding us and teaching us to move in life. Mama, can I go on the slide? Mama, can I jump here? Mama, can I do this? And they were giving us permission to do it. But there is that fine line which is very, very blurry when there is nobody around us to give us that permission anymore. And we keep waiting for it. This is why so many women are worrying about trivial things. This is why so many women are gossiping. This is why so many women are jealous. This is why so many women are tired and resentful because they don't give themselves permission to step into womanhood. And womanhood means no overfunctioning, no jealousy, no gossiping. I am focusing on myself. I put the head down and I do the things which lit up my soul. I do the things which are benefiting me and at the same time benefiting my family and the people around me. So many women waiting for this permission. But I cannot do it. But I have kids. But my husband will not understand. Because excuses, they give perfect cover. As long as we have excuses why we cannot do something, we don't have to do nothing. It's just a story that we make in our mind to justify zero action. Until maybe life hits us so much that we make that decision regardless, or we are forced to make that decision, or we have a choice point where we say to ourselves, okay, it's time for me to step into womanhood. It's time to me to become my own woman. It's time for me to fill up my own cup. It's time for me to give best version of myself to the people I love. It's time for me to stop waiting for permission from my parents. It's time for me to stop mixing the roles in my life. What am I to my parents? What am I to my husband? What am I to my child? What am I to my friend? What am I to my extended family? Who am I in their life and what role I supposed to play? Should I overgive? Should I overfunction? Or should I become very clear and honest with myself what I supposed to do in their life and what they supposed to do in my life? Because often when we are expecting from other people a lot, we are as well giving a lot. Because we're thinking, if I give more, then finally they will give to me what I'm expecting from them. But this is not how the things are working. People rarely meet our expectations just because we give more, just because we overfunction. That's not a bridge to reciprocity. That's actually some kind of trap which keeps us performing while silently hoping for some balance in the giving. But when you declare yourself, I am stepping into womanhood, you start asking yourself, what am I really meant to be in the life of other people and what they're supposed to be in my life? And this becomes kind of like a first step to prioritizing yourself, to understanding, do you give or overgive in some relationships, and how actually you can stop doing that by stepping into the role that you're supposed to play in their life. Then at the same time, assessing your life and giving yourself permission to do the things which are benefiting you, and byproduct of that is benefit for your own family. As long as we are terrified how our actions will affect other people, we will not be able to self-prioritize. We will be those little girls who are terrified to do something differently because maybe somebody will get offended, or maybe somebody will say you change, or maybe somebody will not agree with that, or somebody will not support us. So we stay in the loop of the little girl waiting for permission to change something and to do something for herself. In order for us to prioritize ourselves, we have to declare to ourselves, today I'm stepping into womanhood. Today I'm a grown woman. Today I'm a mature woman. Today I don't need anybody's permission to change something in my life. Today I'm doing things differently. From this day, everything will change. And from that decision, from that choice point, everything starts changing. That's the moment where the line between adulthood and womanhood is not blurry anymore. You can see it clearly, that moment when you say to yourself, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm changing something. Then you start reassessing your roles, where you overgive, where can you self-prioritize more, and everything starts to feel lighter, softer, more joyful, and more magical. Womanhood doesn't start when you have kids, when you get married, when you finish school, when you buy a house, when you tick all of the boxes that society told you this is when you are adult. Womanhood begins the day you stop waiting for permission to lead your own life, to live your own life. It starts the day you stop making yourself so small, so convenient, just to don't make others uncomfortable with who you actually are. When you start understanding that maturity is saying to yourself, I can love you deeply, and I can love people around me in my life deeply, but I can still make choices that they don't like. And I can protect myself without harming them. I can do the things for myself without intentionally doing anything to them. I can choose me. I can choose myself without losing others. This is the moment where womanhood begins. So if you could take a look on your life, if you can analyze it, where in your life are you still moving like a child, waiting for somebody to tell you it's okay, now you can do it? Where are you holding your boundaries? Where are you scared to upset somebody you love? Maybe this podcast episode is your sign that it is time for you to step into womanhood. Maybe this podcast episode is your permission to finally make that decision and change something in your life, because you are only one who can do that. Nobody else can change your life. Nobody else can change what is sitting heavy in your heart. Nobody else can make you prioritize yourself. Nobody else can make you respect yourself. Nobody else can make you love yourself. You are only one who can do that. So if there is a part of you that is still waiting for that permission, still terrified to give it to yourself, I want to tell you that you're not gonna get that permission from the people you are afraid of hurting. You will get that permission from yourself. And until you are brave enough to give yourself that permission, you can borrow mine. Right now, in this podcast episode, I'm handing you permission. It's time for you to step into womanhood. Until the next Sunday, I wish you a beautiful rest of the day.